Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Regina Berlinette, and I am back with another video. If you've already clicked on this, you already know what it's about. It's gonna be a people also ask segment, session, chat, whatever you want to call it, ramblings. And it's gonna be centered around beginner runners. And I wanted to do this because I was just kind of praying about content and wondering, still wondering what direction I should, kind of take my channel. And doing this has shown me that I do have a lot of different interests, but I really feel like people maybe connect to what you're passionate about. And if that's not true, I don't know, but I just wanted to kind of do what people also ask and talk about something that I am passionate about. So that's what we are going to do today before we get into these questions. Just to give you some background on myself, I did run cross country in junior high. I also was on the track team in high school. After leaving high school, after my sophomore year, I didn't do any more running. And I would just say that it was because I wasn't necessarily motivated personally. And I don't think the school that I was attending and the coaches that I had, I don't think they knew how to coach me, how to coach my body type, my demographic. And so I wasn't really encouraged and I wasn't motivated to, think that I could be a runner. And back when I was younger, running was always looked at like, you're supposed to be leaner or thinner. And I've always been a thick chick, small waist with the big old hips. So, but nowadays it's like I love watching track. I love watching the collegiate level and the Olympic level because these girls have broke the mold, saying that you need to be a certain body type to excel and get the gold. Shelly Ann Fraser Price has proven that wrong on the collegiate level. Sha'Carri Richardson has proved it people wrong. Alexon Felix, I think her name is. I love her. She's defied odds, came back from having a baby. Her first baby came back from having a C-section. So, don't let people limit you is what I would say. Don't let people shrink you. Don't let people, if it's something that you're into and you don't look like, fit right, ain't the type that, statistically they say you should be able to do something, do it anyway. Do it anyway. So anyway, put that there. But after high school, didn't do any running. I've always been a person that was into fitness and staying fit. Like I always knew, I was like, I don't want to be big. I come from a bigger family, and for me personally, I just never wanted to be big. So I've always been a fit person. I used to be really into yoga when my son was young, really into Pilates when they were young. I'm picking yoga back up, but I had kind of had to put that to the side because as the children multiplied, the time to sit and just meditate became very limited. Well, to do like a yoga practice and then, have the meditation at the end became very difficult. Fast forward to, I want to say I have been consistently back running for 2 years now. 2 years. This coming up on 3 years this year. And what sparked my interest back into running is a friend of mine. Her name is Nina, and she invited me to do a color run. And I was just really interested in doing it. I had kind of started going up to my local track and walking. And one day I did like a run, walk type of thing, but I wasn't fully invested in it. And so I was like, well, I've always wanted to do something like that, but I've never had the courage or the motivation to do it. And she's like, oh, you should do it. Her sister does them all the time. And she's like, it's just different levels. Like there's all different levels of runners. There's walkers. And she was like, it's just really, really fun. So I said, okay. I'm gonna do it. How I knew that I was gonna do it was I went ahead and paid the fee to do it, because once I pay the fee to do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, especially if it's non-refundable, non-transferable. So we went to the color run. I will insert some pictures of that, and it was so much fun. It was people of all races, people of all backgrounds, people of all cultures. You had people maybe that were alternative, people that were maybe hip hop, people that were maybe country. It was just a great mixture. At the end, you get your medal. They had this little celebration party where we're throwing the color up in the air, and I was just in love. I was in love with the people. I was in love with the community, and I was in love with the experience. And my friend and I guess you could say now, looking back on it, we paced each other. And so what that means is like we ran, and we did do a run walk thing, but we did more running than walking. And so we finished it, and I was like in love. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to do this again. I want to run. Just the feeling of accomplishing something. And we did the 5K, and the motivation of seeing people that, like, they let you go in waves. And so as we were beginning, there were people that was finishing, and we were only like 20 minutes in. And I'm just like, they are going hard, and it was motivational though. It was like, wow, I wonder if I could ever like run that fast or whatever. Anyway, so that is what kind of sparked that flame, kindled that flame. Then after that, it became a way that my faith was built even more. So I have been praying, and I'm gonna try to get through this really fast because we're already 7 minutes in, but I have prayed like, Lord, restore to me the joy of my salvation. I was kind of starting to feel a little bit bored with what I was doing, how I was doing my devotionals, how I was, praising and worshiping, and I just wanted a new way. Lo and behold, when God says he has a plan for you, you never just sit and wait and wonder, because I would have never thought that running would be something that he would use to restore the joy of my salvation. And I like to listen to inspirational music. I like to listen to Christian. I have everything mixed in there. Like, I got a little Kendrick Lamar in there. I got my girl Beyonce. But for the most part, I listen to, as my children call it, holy music. But to me, it's hip. Like, it ain't old school, but to them it is. So be that as it may. And so when I would run and I would be listening to this music and really meditating on it and really thinking about it, it just grew my faith and grew my relationship. And I'll tell you the day that God was like, well, I feel that our relationship really started to grow when it says, I will stick closer to you than a best friend. I wanted to go run outside, but people that know me know I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. And so I was like, I really want to run outside. Like, I want to do it. I remember when I was younger, living in the predominantly white community that I was in, seeing people outside running, pushing strollers, and I just wanted to do it. But my thoughts were assailing me, and I was scared. I was just like, well, what if this and what if that? And like 2 years ago, as we know, so many things was happening in the media that just had me like, what if someone says something crazy? And I remember literally just praying like, Father, I want to do it, but I'm scared. Father this, Father that. And I remember literally looking down at my feet and hearing this soft whisper say, either you're going to go out and do it or you're going to sit down. And I remember thinking, I'm going to get out and do it. And I took a deep breath in and I looked at my feet and I said, I'm going to step out on faith, Father. And I watched my foot take one step in front of the other. And ever since then, along with my relationship with God, my family, passion for them, running has become a passion of mine. It's built my faith. As I said, it's built my confidence. Obviously, a side benefit of that is having, a fit body and a sound mind. She is of Christ and she has a sound mind. So those are all the things that got me motivated to become a runner and motivated to get out there and get after it, And so that's, I hope that helps you. Like I said, I've been doing this hardcore for 2 years, not a huge background in running, compared to others, but we don't compare ourselves, as I'm gonna maybe get into depending on these questions. And yeah, so I would say for a beginner, I'm maybe a novice. So the information is fresh in my mind and I feel like I can help someone who is interested in running or who is considering running or who is starting out running. Just to let you know, if I can do it, you can do it. I have 4 children. I had 2 C-sections and I am 38 years old. So if I can do it, you can do it for sure. That's the main point that I want to make. So people also ask, what I typed into Google is tips for beginner runners. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's the people also ask. I'm going to keep it down to just 10. Let's see how many we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to stop there. Okay, so let's get into it. This is like natural. I heard or I watched a video that said that if you don't have lighting, and if you're somebody that want to get into it just for the fun of it, if you don't have like a lighting system or good lighting in your house, a good time to film is during the day using natural sunlight in your room that has the most like lighting. Little tip. I don't know. I mean, I watch people that are really professional and I watch people that are not professional at all. And the ones that I watch that are not professional, on the side note, is usually, it's a guy and he's like a hiker / runner. And he just sets up and talks. But anyway, so let's get started. All right, so the first question says, how can a beginner get better at running? Practice. Practice makes perfect. Watch running videos. Watch people in your neighborhood that run, because you might end up seeing somebody that is tall like you, short like you, your size, that obviously has been running, and so you can kind of, don't stare at them like, but kind of peep them and give them a way to go and wish them well and watch their form. That can help you be mindful of your form. The number one thing about getting better at running is your form. And one thing that I had to learn is that my form is specifically my form. I can't look like any other runner other than myself. But what I can do, and I've learned this from using the Nike Run Club app, shout them out. They also have a beginner getting started guided run that you can do if you want to download, and that app is free. But what they tell you to do is do a systems check. And this also helps you if you start to feel out of breath or your mind starts to tell you like, I'm tired, I want to stop. So you check in with yourself, and that's how you become present in the body. So first, how's your head? Is your face relaxed? And they'll tell you to smile. Smiling does, help you relax. They will say, check in with your shoulders. Are your shoulders down and relaxed away from your ears? Is your chest, leading? Not too far out, but just like they call it a proud chest. And your chin should be right in line with your chest. And then they'll have you go down and say, how is your legs? And, what's your foot strike? And so that is how I learned to be a better runner and how I learned how to have better form. Because when I first started, I was, as my husband called it, rubbernecking, watching everybody else and what they do. And it's, you can't do that. You could get inspiration from people, but you can only be the runner that you are. You can only look like how you're going to look like. And if you try to run like someone else, you're not going to enjoy your run. You may end up injuring yourself, and you may not become the best runner, the best version of yourself. So those are my suggestions. It says, how long should I run for a beginner? For me, I did guided runs. And like I said, when I first started out, I did the Getting Started collection. And it went through different times. So it didn't just start you out, boom, 60 minutes. It didn't just start you out even at 30. I think the first run on their collection, if it's still on this phone, the first run they have you do is like, I want to say 20 minutes. So, 20 minutes, not very challenging. The main focus that, you need to focus on is your breathing, having your breathing under control, that you're running relaxed. And it's gonna sound challenging because you're gonna feel silly, you're gonna feel slow. But what I can remember Coach Bennett coaching in that first guided run is a shuffle. You just start with like a little shuffle, and you build from that. And I think in my little shuffle, I think when I looked at my stats, excuse me one second, my pace back then 2 years ago was like 19, 16 average pace. So that means like my mile that I completed was within 16 minutes, 19 minutes. And a mile on a track is 4 laps. So kind of think about that in timing, and you'll kind of know that in my opinion, I was, slow for what I wanted. So the first run is 20 minutes, and the first run is 20 minutes. And they have you do a speed run and all that. So I would say don't push yourself. Like, even on this Google, I could click it and see what an expert could say, but let's say you read something and the expert's like, you should be able to at least run for 30 minutes and you should be able to get 3 miles done. That means you're at a 10-minute mile. You can finish a mile in 10 minutes. And let's say you get out there and you can't do that. That might discourage you. Whereas if you just say, even if you don't get the Getting Started collection, because at first I did not have this app. So my thing was like, I'm just going to go out there. And I can't remember even a time I put on myself. I just said I'm going to walk the straights and run the curbs on the track because I like running the curbs. It's just fun to tilt and run. And so that was what I did for my first run. And I did that until I felt satisfied and I was happy about what I accomplished and moved on with myself. So how many times a week should a beginner run? I feel like it depends on your body. For me, throughout this journey, I've gone through different months where I've ran every day. I went through a moment recently where I did like a 5K run almost every day, and I ended up just tiring myself out and making myself sick. You can make yourself sick from too much running. So, but there's people that I watch that run every day. For me, what I do, what works for my body type, my age, is I do a 4-day running cycle. So I run for 4 days and then I rest. And on my rest days, like today is a rest day, I try to rest. Before I was doing like strength training on my rest days, but now I mix strength training in with my run cycle and just give my body just time to just be, be still. So it really, a lot about running and enjoying running and getting better at it has to do with you getting to know yourself. It's you getting to know yourself and what works for you. So that's what I would say. But I mean, depending on your body, you could do it every day. I know for me, I was able to do it every day when I switched it up. not going the same pace every day, but I would do like a mile, then I would do like 2 miles, then I would try a 10K, then I would do a hill run or an incline run. So if you mix it up, but if you're hitting the same goal every single day, those muscles will get worn out from what I've learned. What should a first-time runner know? Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Make sure that you know your why. I've learned that. Know your why. Know your purpose. If you know why you're getting out there, if you know why you're getting after it, then chances are not only will you run, but you will enjoy running. You know, you can't force yourself to do something that you don't really know why you're doing it outside of maybe the physical. But the physical is temporary, you know, and our minds and our flesh is weak. So one day you might like what you see and the next day you may not. So if you use running as something to help you with the physical, you may not like it, you know? So know your why. That's the number one thing I would say. Know your why. Know why you're doing it. Put a purpose behind it. I do it not only to move, but I do it to connect with God. I do it to pray. I do it to meditate. All those reasons. Baby, I can hear you chewing over here. I don't know if y'all could pick that up, but he was grubbing. So let's see. We're at 21 minutes. Let's get it. I think that kind of answers what you should know for your first time running. How far should I run in 30 minutes? It all depends on where you're at on your running level. There's no cookie cutter. Unless you're a professional runner, which if you're a professional, you don't need this. But 30 minutes, it depends on where you at. It depends on, you know, what your average pace is. I know for me, my average pace now, I answered prayer because I did ask God for this, but on a recovery run, on an easy run, if, you know, I'm by myself, I can do 10-minute average pace. So with a 10-minute average pace, I can get 3 miles done in 30 minutes. That's for me though, but that was not true 2 years ago. 2 years ago, like, it would have took me an hour or something to do 3 miles. And that's why you really shouldn't compare yourself. You should set your own goals, because I know somebody else could be like, oh, I follow this girl on Instagram and she posts like pictures after her run and they're just so inspirational. And she's from a different part of the country. We found each other through the hashtag Garmin, but where is she from? Ireland? I don't know. But when she posts what she's done in 30 minutes, she's at like 4 or 5 miles. So that just shows, you know, some people go 6-minute average pace, 7-minute average pace. So if you do the should thing, should I be able to run 3 miles in 30 minutes? It depends on who you are, where you're at, what your fitness level is, and what your goal is, and what your why is. Why do you want to do, you know, a 10-minute average pace? I just wanted to challenge myself. 10 minutes for me was like, Lord, that's my goal. That's what I want. Can you help? I wanted to be faster than 16 minutes, but I didn't want to be like overly, I don't know, 10 minutes was just where I'm at. Moving on. It says, how do I run without getting tired? Make sure that you're hydrated. Make sure that your body is fueled. You're gonna get tired towards the end, but that's the push through. That's where prayer comes in sometimes, where you're like, Lord, I just want to finish. Help me finish my race. You are the finisher. Help me finish. And just, yeah, but you're going to get tired. I mean, you're going to have your warm up time. That's when you're warming your body up from, you know, maybe you've been stagnant all day, which means maybe you've been sitting around, standing at the office, you know, with the kids or whatever. When you first start, you need time for your body to warm up. So that might be what someone considers like tired. And then your body warms up, and then towards the end of your run, you're gonna start to feel tired again because you've been moving. You've been like doing something. So, but if you're meaning like, how do you run without getting tired and stopping? You know, for me, that's when my prayer comes in, and that's when I'm, meditating on his word. That's when I'm visualizing things and just putting scripture into physical practice, but also kind of thinking about what it means on a spiritual level as well when it talks about running your race. Excuse me. And the Bible is really good for athletes, especially the New Testament. Like if you read Paul, historically, he would have been around the times when the Olympics was first starting, and he would have been attached as a prisoner to a guard that maybe was going to the games. And so I heard a preacher say, imagine Paul being someone that was an amazing writer and was a leader, but also really enjoyed like ESPN. And so in his writing, you will see fight the good fight, run the race, things like that. So it helps me to stay motivated. And then when I accomplish and I don't quit and I don't give up, I'm like, I can endure. I do have perseverance. I do have patience. It takes patience to finish a run. Is 5K in 30 minutes good? I mean, it is for me. I enjoy it. The cool thing about the Nike Run Club app is it'll keep your stats, your PRs for you. And so I've PR'd my fastest 5K was like 25 minutes. Why do runners look so old? Because we getting after it? I don't know. Like, I don't really think runners look old. I've seen people who are older than me that are running, and I'll be like, hey, I'm like, oh, Lord, that, because the end goal is I do want to be a big mama. I want to look after my grandkids, but I also don't want to look like a big mama, if that makes sense. Like a grandmother that watches her grandchildren. So when I see people that are out there getting it, to me, they look good because you getting it and you like 60. And there's this lady up at the gym that teaches Zumba, and she also does like insane arms. Her name is Flo. Flo fine. Me and my friend be like, goals all day. Goals all day. I think she said she's like 54. She looks great. So I don't know. Coming up on the last ones here. Let's see. Yeah. So it says, how should you breathe when running? What I've learned is you have to control your breathing. And one of the things I learned from the Nike Run Club app is that counting your steps helps you calm your breath down. So if you're running and you're starting to feel out of breath, if you're starting to feel overly out of breath, either you need to back off. You need to be smart enough and confident enough to back off. That means you're maybe going harder than what you should. You can also stop and recover your breath by putting your hands on your head and just kind of doing a toe tap from side to side. Or if you want to keep going and maybe you just got excited because you're like, dang, I'm almost to the end, and you just got excited so your breath is getting ahead of you, start counting your foot strike. Start counting your foot strike. And the last one says, how do I run out of shape? How do I run out of shape when running? So that must be someone that's saying, how do I run / I'm out of shape / when running? Start at your level. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. Don't compete with anyone else. Stay in your lane. Run your race. And that's how you do it. And slowly you will get back in shape. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have the best diet. In fact, I don't diet. Me and my friend laugh all the time. Like when we run together or whether it's by ourselves, my thing sometime throughout my run is like, ooh, what am I going to eat when I'm done? Like that's my reward. I don't know, I guess. Award-winning plate. But yeah, I'm not somebody that eats the necessary vegetables and fruits. I don't stay away from processed foods. I don't stay away from carbs. I eat. I just had Olive Garden yesterday for Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you. But just start, and then you'll start to make little changes throughout your journey. Make it intimate, make it personal, make it your why. That's why it's so important to know what your why is. Because once you know what your why is, then you're motivated on a different level from if you were just comparing yourself or wanting to look like someone else or competing with someone else. I don't know, a coworker, relative, whatever. And you're not really enjoying the journey. But when you know your why, it doesn't matter if you're out of shape or, if you don't eat the right amount of proteins. I mean, yeah, you ain't going to be ripped, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to run. So that's what I would say. I'm going to put a period in there because this video is 30 minutes long. And I know a lot of people, myself included, you only got a limited amount of time before it's like, do I want to watch this or do I not want to watch this? So this is 30 minutes. If you've made it this far and you've rocked with me this long, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. It makes it all worth it to know, maybe just one person enjoyed the content. I hope that you go and get after whatever your get after is. If running is not your thing, I understand that, Zumba could be your thing, swimming could be your thing, cycling, whatever, yoga, Pilates, whatever your get after is, get after it. But it is important, especially in our generation, in our age, to get after your get after. It's too easy to become stagnant and be, sitting or on your couch or not moving, because it's a great blessing, but it's also a challenge because we are able to pretty much have everything in the palm of our hands, literally. We can order our food on our phone. We can watch stuff on our phone. It's sitting, watching TV. It's just really easy to not move. And the body needs movement. The mind needs movement. It takes a 40-minute walk, if you like walking. A 40-minute walk will increase your endorphins and your dopamine. And those are the two things that they put in antidepressant medicine. So, a 40-minute walk, I love this one suggestion. You can talk to God like you're talking to a friend. If you feel weird about doing that, put your earbuds in and you can act like you're talking to somebody on your phone. But really, you're just talking out loud to God. Or He don't even need you to talk out loud. If that's not your thing, you can talk in your head. But get outside and do something positive, or do something positive in your house that is movement for your body. We were made to move. We were made to move. Back before we had cars and horses, it was all about walking. Now we got Nikes, but they used to walk in sandals. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that something I've said has helped you, has encouraged you, and I hope that you have an awesome week. Today is Monday, May 10th, so I hope you have an awesome week. I'm sending you blessings. I'm sending you love. And as always, remember, you blessed. I love you. Love you. God loves you more. Peace.